Oh, and where's Joanne? Oh, that's okay. That's, all right, first up, approval of minutes from June 16th. Yeah, I mailed them out today in case you didn't get them. You know, I just get them from the website. Does anybody have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good job. Next up, do we have, that's not Joanne that's on, right?
No, that's for some reason, I don't know why, but it wouldn't recognize my phone number, which it usually does. I'll just rename that. That's my phone.
Okay. Yeah, Joanne just called. I told her that Tira and I were on our way back to our homes. Because I did forward over the financials. I got that late. I normally get it earlier in the week. But we'll see. Joanne will probably be coming in. Moving on to update and businesses in town. You saw the one new certificate I sent over was for Lewis Electric in North Grovenerdale.
Yep.
And I have it somewhere. Yeah, he does commercial and residential electrician stuff. Two other things that I have to update, kind of exciting if this goes through. A few weeks ago, I was in the town hall and met the new owners of a business that's going in where Monte Bianco was.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they don't expect to be open till September, but it's similar where we had a man from Colombia running an Italian restaurant. These two guys are from Ecuador running an Italian restaurant.
Okay, perfect.
And I do miss Monte Bianco. I hope it works out for them. The other thing is that System Solutions, which has been, that's Chris Nelson, has been in and out of town. He now has space in the old Thomas Mill as of a week or two ago, right next to the space for our father's table.
Oh, nice.
Here comes Joanne, by the way. Well, she has to come in twice as well. She'll come in on her phone separately, so you can go back to her.
She's still in flux there?
Yeah, she'll come in separately on her phone in a minute.
Okay. Or
Speaking of Charlene and Frank's Mill, there is a gentleman who is apparently negotiating with them to lease the restaurant. I don't know how advanced that is. He's been in talk to Cindy a couple of times because there's a zoning aspect.
Yeah.
He needs to pull the existing site plan so that he can present them to PZC. So here she comes.
That would be nice. I really do like that place too.
Hey everyone, it's Joanne.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Thought I had a long night.
Well, no, we just, like I told
Yeah,
Joanne,
but I didn't.
we ran long.
Yeah, I didn't see that email. So, anyways, we're all together now. That's great.
We are. Whenever you're ready, did you look over the financials?
Yes. Yeah, I was. What? Did we already get to that part?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like in the available budget we have $4,217.12.
Yeah.
Huh? You must still be looking at the tail end of
June.
fiscal 21.
Yeah, yep, but that's the last one I got.
Yeah, this is through June 30th,
Oh,
Okay, all right.
2021. That's the latest one that I got just yesterday.
Well, shouldn't we be,
I'll have to take a look at that then, and because Paul and Orla did not give me a copy of that this time. I'll have to take a look at that and see whether that actually represents reality, because I think stuff got moved around at the end of the fiscal year.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we
it looks
should
like
have been
$50,000
done.
was encumbered somewhere. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'll figure that out for you for next meeting.
Okay, terrific.
Okay, anything else on businesses in town?
I don't think so.
New
Okay.
business? Did anyone
Isn't-
have new business?
I
Yeah,
thought I read somewhere that somebody's opening a veterinary's office on Quantic Farm Town Road, and there was something else. I'm looking back for the, where I found that. And I don't see it.
okay. Yeah, I don't have a form for it. But you know, it could be like the new Italian restaurant. It's just not through the system yet.
Has there been any more closures?
Huh?
Any more closures?
No closures that I know of. I mentioned
Good.
the one sheet that you got for an electrician, and that we're hoping to have an Italian restaurant by September or so in the old Monte Bianco.
Oh, wonderful, great.
Is there a name for that place?
No, they don't have it. When I talked to these guys, they didn't have a name yet.
Oh, yes, they do. I think they're going to call it Pomodoro Piccolo, the little tomato.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any idea what is going into the old Mechanicsville School? Or is any business going in there? I know Bernie Davis ran it for a while and sold it.
Yeah,
I
it just
believe it was
sold.
sold as a residence.
Just
Oh.
for residents? Okay.
Yeah, I noticed it was sold, but didn't have anything for a business for it. All right, we don't, any citizen comments pertaining to agenda items? That would be Heather, if Heather had comments.
I do not know.
Okay. Going on to new business. As you know, we're looking for a recording secretary to replace Ashley.
Oh, let me stop you right here, Brian Yacino. Meet your new recording secretary, Heather.
Oh, well, there you go. So, hi.
I had a feeling that's what was going on there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Amy and Renee and I interviewed Heather yesterday, and Heather, have you actually completed your paperwork, or you're just sitting in tonight, right?
I'm just sitting in tonight, yes.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
well,
So she came in to get to know you guys.
oh, that's scary, but thank you. Okay, so scratch that recording secretary thing. Yeah, as soon as we get it, I'll add your information to our contact list, Heather. We all share our numbers and emails, and if you have questions on what you're taking for minutes or whatever, you can always ask after the meeting. Even days after when you're trying to write it up, whatever. So good. Again, welcome. Next up, I have EDC meeting for July. Anybody up for an in-person, I mean for August? Anybody up for meeting in person in August?
Which Wednesday will that be? That'll be the,
It's the third Wednesday. It's August 18th.
yeah. I will actually be missing it. I'll be on vacation that week. So
Again?
again, yep.
I should be in town, and if things continue on an upward trend for the risks or the hazards of meeting in public, I'm perfectly willing to, especially in the larger room, but I like the Zoom meetings pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay either way, just for the record.
I'm okay either way too. I'd rather go with what, who has the strongest feelings. It's not bad to at least meet in person once or so.
Yeah, I like getting together. I'm just hoping that the town has an option. So if people wanted to Zoom, they can. And people that wanted to get together to be.
We can do the hybrid. We're just not set up for it. That would, a hybrid or either one would be allowed.
Yeah.
This is Amy St. We currently do have the capacity to do hybrid if you
Okay.
so chose. The only difficult part is we do use a noise canceling microphone. So if there's residents who are attending the meeting live, they have to actually walk up so they can be heard.
I see. That's great, Amy. Thank you. Didn't realize. That's great.
All right. Do we have any thoughts for August?
I'm spoiled by Zoom, but whatever anybody wants to do.
Well, I mean, if we want to do another month of Zoom, I'm okay.
Well, actually, I mean, wintertime is great for Zoom, when it's cold out and snowy and stuff like that. But summertime, I don't mind. But, I mean, if we wanted to make it a special meeting to meet in person because we haven't, and then just go back to Zoom, just to say hi to everybody, but that's fine too. But it's just nice to do it in your own home.
Well, that's why I'm looking for thoughts. I'm okay either way. I'd rather, accommodate what the group
I
feels
have a
right.
question for Amy St. Ange before I make another decision here. How complicated is it for us to set up one of those hybrid meetings, and how many people would have to be in the town hall?
So according to what the guidelines have been from the state, certain members of a commission or a board could still Zoom in. Yeah, we currently we're using a webcam, so it has to be set back a little bit to get everybody into the camera lens. How difficult it is? We just need a laptop, and it's plug and play. So the webcam and the noise canceling microphone are all identified by your laptop, and the Zoom technology picks it up. And then you just choose to use the noise canceling microphone versus the microphone on your laptop.
So
We just need a laptop, which I'm planning on using one from the town hall that's dedicated to meetings. That's kind of my plan.
Is that something that if any of our normal commissioners said, well, I'll go in and run the machines at the town hall in case people show up? Or does it have to be a dedicated person? How do we go about getting the training? Because if it is that we only need one person, I'm willing to go in and run it.
Right.
It's just a matter of convenience, as has been said. It's far more convenient to be sitting here in my library than to be out, even though it's not that far up and down the hill and all that,
Yeah, I mean, it could be set up prior, it could be set up earlier in the day for the meeting that evening. So it's kind of how we've been doing it.
Yeah. Sounds pretty simplistic. That's good.
It really is.
It does. Why don't we plan on having a hybrid meeting, and unless something comes up to really say, no, this isn't a good idea, then in that case, we'll just go to straight Zoom.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? For August?
Hybrid?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not going to learn this new technology unless we start doing it.
Yeah,
So-
do it. Yeah.
All right. If everybody's good with that, we'll do a hybrid for August. I'll talk more with Tira about it in the meantime. Okay, next up, new business. I have a request from the Thompson Business Association we were talking about the old days when we did our business expos, and people were feeling like it's a good idea and wondering if they could tie in with something like the Maker Faire. And I talked with Tira about it, and the purpose of the Maker Faire was to kind of eliminate the plug and play selling, Harbor Freight products and things like that. And she thinks it would be a better idea to set up another time for a business expo outside and utilize the 11th Village. It probably wouldn't be till next year. But looking for thoughts on that, and of course it would be something that we would support, and maybe have it go along with another event that's going on, food truck expo, who knows. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on because we'll have a new planning director, so.
I just want to make sure I'm clear. It was combining the Makers Faire with the Business Expo.
Yeah,
Combined.
that was the TBA's
Yeah.
thought, and that kind of goes against the original purpose
Yeah, sure.
of the Maker Faire.
I don't know. I think the Maker Faire was such a raving success that why not have, a section?
Well,
put it off.
I can tell you exactly why not from the perspective of people who do those,
Yeah.
who do craft fairs.
Okay.
Artists get totally bummed out if they roll up to a show and it's not a craft show.
I
If
see.
it's like guys selling Anderson windows, and no offense, Joanne, but real estate brokers,
Yeah.
it's a totally different feel to a show. And the people
Okay,
who
that's
do
fair.
craft shows for a living, they do not want to see that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I told the group that I would, bring it up on the agenda, and that's a really good answer. And of course, anyone in our group who does make things would be welcome at the Maker Faire. Like we used to have Steve Carpenter show up. He made those Indian type flutes, all handmade stuff. He would be welcome at the Maker Faire as a business.
Right. And it certainly would be acceptable as sort of a different approach there if there are members of TBA who are in fact makers, to have a presence as TBA showing off the fact that they are specifically Thompson businesses also working to advance economic development in Thompson. That would be okay. What dilutes the spirit of the Maker Faire, again, is like, I sell insurance, I'm a roofer, it's not the right forum for it. But yes, if there are guys who are making things of their own in their home to sell as retail products, that is appropriate.
But doesn't the name Makers Faire imply that? We're not talking about a home show. We're talking about a Makers Faire. So I would think right
Yes.
off the bat, it's going to eliminate windows and businesses selling their non-products.
but-
It doesn't.
Joanne, they were talking about essentially combining events. It was talking about doing a business expo during the Maker Faire.
Yeah, and
And-
I'm not sure that that's the right kind of synergy, especially after
Yeah.
hearing Tara's comment.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Like I said,
And I've been at an other business expo, and I thought it was pretty well done. So it wasn't at that same time of year either, was it? It was like March or February or
we've
something.
done it, the three we did them during Lent because they were at the Knights of Columbus and it tied in with Fish and Chips on Friday, which brought a lot of people in. That was the reason it was done. And for some, it was too early in the year. We could not have gone outside. Right now, we're thinking a little more outside the box and doing an outdoor venue like the Maker Faire.
Yeah, because we're going to be hard pressed to replace that room that the Knights of Columbus had. We may be able to do it through the the business owner, the proprietor at the restaurant, but
It's full
that
of
was a nice room, and I don't know where else there is to look for something like that.
That was the biggest space that we had, and right now it's got a lot of pool tables.
Yeah,
Now, to be clear, I think that if TBA wanted to organize an event that was an expo that also had other things that would draw people into the park, I think that is a capital idea.
Yeah. And that's that's the other thing that we were talking about. If it wasn't a go with the Maker Faire, we will do something else and try to tie it in. People, they are anxious to contribute to the town, use the space, use 11th Village. So we're open for discussion for that. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's my answer. So I appreciate it. Thank you. The other thing on here, I don't know if you're ready, Tira. I made a note to bring up the AIR initiative.
I'm not. I've
Okay.
been flat out. In fact, I actually took it off the agenda that I sent back to you after you made that comment. I can touch on it just very briefly. So the AIR initiative is something that the Connecticut Office of the Arts is working on, that they're going to open up to towns to participate in a couple of different ways. One would be to solicit people who want to train to be facilitators, and that would be a paid position, and they can come from anywhere. But then once they have their facilitators, for towns to sort of apply into it, it's like an assistance program to learn how to activate your creative community in a way that ties into economic development directly. They've got some fantastic video materials and stuff. I've talked to a woman at Connecticut Office of the Arts, and she's going to send me all the materials when the program does fully open up. That was just sort of like an opening info session. I immediately thought that we would have some tie-in there. Wanted to talk about it at the last meeting when it was all fresh in my head, but it got away from me, and I just haven't had time to go back and re-look at it. But it's really interesting looking. But that's sort of as far as I can take it today.
Okay. Okay, we're up to progress reports. We have the Sullivan and Lashane agreement letter.
Yep, it's all signed and sent back. Renee and I tried to circle back with him to get a timeline out of him for when we're going to take first steps, and he had not replied. I think they're down a man in that office because Chris Sicaro just had that baby, and they probably have people out on vacations. Usually Brian Flaherty turns his answers around to me within hours, and he's been a little slow the last few days. But the agreement was received. Renee and I looked at it. We did sign it, so the contract is now active.
Great.
To take those next steps on the branding project.
That's great.
Okay, the Thompson Did You Know was put up July 1st for the first question, and Zainab had turned it into a more of an interactive as far as multiple choice, who founded Thompson, for instance, and she was really happy with the results and the conversation. It's going through Thompson Rec website somewhere, and Tira, I couldn't, she had sent me some screenshots, but I couldn't actually find it.
You couldn't find which? You couldn't find, she's got the Did You Know living on the rec site?
Well, all I could find from the beginning of the link was thompsonrec.org/ and there was a couple more words and one was cut off, so I couldn't get to the whole thing and kept coming up site not available. But that's all I had. I couldn't find it through Thompson Rec itself.
All right, well, let me see if I can figure it out quickly. You guys can talk amongst yourselves while I do that.
We don't have to know now. I was just kind of updating. She thought it was a success with some interaction going on, which was the goal. That's what Renee had wanted, and I had thought, and Zainab had thought. So we'll be posting another one around August 1st.
Okie dokie. Well, you definitely know more about what's going on with that than I do right now. So
Yeah, I'll find,
I'm a little divorced from it right at the moment.
yeah, well, I'll find out how to access the thing and I'll pass on the information. So it doesn't have to be right now.
Okay. Well, I'm curious now.
Well, yeah,
It does seem to me that that should be something that would be visible right off of the homepage of the Thompson website.
yeah. But we'll get it. And if it's not visible enough, we'll fix that too. So I have enough written for the first year, for the first 12 months. So we're set for a while. On to the release of NIPS funds.
Yeah. So I was going over the end of the year finances with Orla, and it turns out we had some balance in the funds that were taken in from private donors for the NIPS program, and had one of those light bulb moments. Like, we've been talking, several of us on several different committees and in several offices, talking about what to do with those things, how to button it up, how to have that final piece. And we've been talking now, about, we should do an art project with them. And it occurred to me, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me earlier, well, because I didn't know we had the pocket of funds left in the donor pool, that would be the perfect opportunity to go back and do another crowd fund through the Sustainable CT program, because it's hard to find a grant that truly applies. It's definitely a grassroots program in its origin, and it's got that sort of charismatic hook. So I have been approved for and created a crowdfund campaign that is all ready to launch for the month of August. Last night, and Amy can confirm this, but she did mention it to me this morning, the Board of Selectmen reviewed the proposal that I had given to Sustainable CT to approve the program, and they sort of gave their support of it. I don't know exactly what form that took, and whether it was a vote or just a discussion, because I was running another meeting. And then the Rec Commission, because the parks are under their jurisdiction, so to speak, are meeting next Wednesday to look at it and sort of give their assent. But the purpose here would be for EDC to vote to use the funds in that way, to drop in a seed fund into a crowd fund, and we're looking to raise a total of $9,000 to create with those NIPS. I think I proposed it as 6 large, like 5 to 6 foot long sculptures of fish made with the NIPS. And Sarah Furbush, who is the teacher for the elementary art class, and I have been out there. She has experience doing public art installations. We talked about how we think it would work. So it's all detailed in the crowdfund that I put together with, suggested giving levels. We know what the budget would be. The goal is to have the very first one completed and installed for Community Day, for a number of reasons, because of course it's a community project. It would tie into the upcycled art show as a piece of upcycled art that would be permanent. And the timing kind of works well in a lot of ways. And then to complete them over the course of a year, possibly with students taking part in the rest of the build and installation, possibly not. We could work some of those details out. But it's pretty cool. Totally coincidentally, I was zooming around on Facebook the other day and happened to see, I want to say it was somewhere in Scandinavia, somebody has done some huge fish sculptures made out of plastic bottles recovered out of the ocean. So, I don't get to say I had the idea first, maybe, but other people are thinking along these lines. So, you know, it's kind of neat to see that kind of synergy. Anyway, that's where we are. So I couldn't remember if you guys already voted to release the funds for that or not. But if you didn't, then I would ask you to do that this evening.
I thought we did. I thought we voted to release.
Did we? I haven't been able to
Yeah,
know where I'm
I
coming or
believe we did
going
last-
lately,
I
Brian.
believe we did a couple meetings ago, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. I wasn't imagining it yet. So then you don't have to vote again. It's going to be in a record in the minutes.
Okay.
But we're
Um,
ready to go.
If by some odd chance we did not, is there any reason why we can't just agree in principle that those funds were to be released for the seed money on the? So
Let me
I
just
don't want to
answer the
hold this
question and
up.
go into
You
the
know,
minutes.
if you go looking for it and you can't find it, then it's another whole month.
we could do it.
I'm looking at the minutes now. I'll find them. Did you know? One sheet, ZMAP, website notes, 65 Main, 11th Village, Trainwreck Park. So maybe in May.
Yeah, I don't think it was last month.
Yeah, it was.
I know that we
it was,
talked about it, but I
it
don't
was in
remember.
May. It was the May meeting because I was present for that and I missed the June one. So
Right.
Okay. CMAP, Town Hall sign, website, POCD, 65 Main, Maker Fair, 11th Village, Trainwreck Park. I don't see it in May either. Unless it was at branding.
But can branding release those funds? They're EDC funds.
No, it would have had to be EDC.
Then just for the purpose of expediting this, I make a motion that we release those funds for seed money for the project that Tara just outlined.
I'll second that.
It won't hurt if we have it twice on.
You're exactly right, Charlie. Does not hurt.
Yeah. Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so we're good. It'll be in the minutes at least for July. If not,
Yes, it will, because I'm doing those minutes. So it will absolutely be in the minutes.
okay. Next up is a reminder for the EDC Business of the Year during our Community Day. I also reminded again at the Thompson Business Association, you can get the form online. If you are a business, you can nominate yourself if that's what you want to do. So, yeah, we'll have to have a decision. We have another month, and then we'll be making a decision during the September meeting. So we can present it in October, for October 2nd. Next up is the town hall sign, and all. I see that they've done the electrical. They dug a trench and did proper electrical, and that's where we are.
Yeah, have you, Amy, have you talked to Joel since they finished the electrical? She's still there.
Well,
She probably stepped away. We'll go back and
Did
ask
I-
her.
Sorry, Tara, did I miss a question? My husband was talking to me.
No, that's okay. I was just wondering if you've talked to Joel at Graphics since they finished the
Oh.
electrical, or if they're actually done
Yes.
with the electrical.
I meant to message you today. I meant to tell you about it today. Pocket Electric is going to be at Town Hall tomorrow, completing the wiring. And then they were getting in touch with Aaron at Graphics Unlimited. So I think that's Joel's son.
Yeah.
To let them know that they'd be there and and they'd be all set by tomorrow mid-morning, I think it is. They should be at the town hall by 8:30. I'm meeting them
Awesome.
there. Sorry for not updating you. I meant to, and then I got distracted today.
Amy, even if you told me today, I had so many things going on, I probably would have forgotten.
Okay. Thanks for the pass.
Well, that's why it's on the agenda. It reminds us.
Yep.
And we can update. Okay. Next up is website notes, and I don't have any, comments or things to change other than wanting to find, did you know? Does anybody else have any, errors or, okay. The 11th Village update, we were hoping for another shed, which doesn't look promising right this minute.
No, and I messaged Dave Eddy again today. I meant to do it on Monday, but it's just been one of those weeks. The last time I spoke to him, which was about a month ago, he said he would have them for me by the first week of August. And then, of course, I can hardly blame anybody for not getting a shed done when we've had 40 days and 40 nights of rain. But nonetheless, I was hoping to have some kind of response to him to report tonight. I do not have it. So I will get on him tomorrow.
Okay. The final progress report, I have the train wreck park update down here. It's nice. I've been seeing that in the newspaper too. So it's being reported on and talked about.
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing about the Villager is that they don't really have any staff writers, so they will take press releases that get sent to them and just print them, which is, what happens with the press releases I get in. Yeah, but we are getting actually a lot of good attention on that, and not just attention like press releases and our own promos, but stuff that's sort of spontaneous and ungenerated. We got the Connecticut Humanities Grant officially. I don't know if I had been notified of that, but as of our last meeting, I don't think we had. Right at the end of June, I was officially notified that we did receive the full grant request, so like $4,885, which is exactly half the project because it's a 1-to-1 match. Graphics Unlimited is doing that too because they're involved in some of the other stuff, and they were the only vendor I could find who would even touch that Windows on the Past thing. Everybody else said, no way, I don't understand. The vendor who did the original one said they don't do them anymore, but Graphics Unlimited found a method, and so that's moving forward. Mallory, our National Park Service historian from that partnership, is working with Paul Provost and Tom Chase from the Historic Society to design the signs. First or second week of August, they should be done with that, and then I'll send them over to Graphics. We have committed to a dedication / ribbon cutting event the day after Community Day, Sunday, the 3rd of October. And we're starting the planning process of that. I have invited and have not had confirmed the singer-songwriter who wrote the winning song for the Trainwreck Song Contest last year to do an acoustic set, like a 40-minute set. Part of the Connecticut Humanities Grant requirements is that you notify your elected officials, state and federal, and inform them. So I did that yesterday, and each of those letters included an invitation to join us at that. So I am in communication with Representative Courtney's and Senator Murphy's schedulers. Neither has committed. I think there's a high likelihood that Joe Courtney will come up. He comes up to Thompson a lot and is very enthusiastic for that kind of sort of community building project. He's been over to Kai's place a ton of times. So that would be a nice thing. We just want to make a nice event of it. So some of the sort of unearned media, so to speak, that we've been getting, people are seeing those map brochures. Funny story. One of the last brutal 90-degree days that we had before the rain all started, some members of Putnam's Trails Committee were doing a site walk with some engineers, and they had invited me and Paul Provost and Karen to go with them. I met them that morning but couldn't go on the site walk. Paul was the only one we met on the site walk. I just wanted to, introduce myself to them. As we're talking, the Elaine Sestair, who I think is the development director over for Putnam, or she's got a similar role to mine over there, said, "Oh, have you seen these new brochures that just came out? They're like maps." And I couldn't tell you how hard I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, it turns out I'm familiar with that project. So people are seeing them. They're really liking them. I've gotten a few email requests for them. The Press and the Villager has helped. TLGV is going to take a quantity from each town, like a flat. I got to drive some down there and distribute them at their events that they host. So that whole master project is buzzing along quite nicely. And we'll have the Trail Town report from the NPS partners by the end of August, I think. Our partnership with them formally ends at the end of September. But it's had fruit, and that's always encouraging. So there's your Trainwreck Park update.
Thank you. All right, that's all I have on the agenda. Do we have any comments by commission members?
A few. On that map that Tara just talked about, I stopped at the library and found out that the inventory that were dropped off there are all gone.
Oh,
Okay, we'll get them some more.
I've had people asking me about them on Facebook, and I told them that I thought they could get them by requesting them through Town Hall. That's something else that should probably be on our on the homepage of the town's website. And I think that overall, we should probably try to hold back half of the total number that we got for next year, so that we don't just blow through them because they go fast. There's that. Another quick note is there's nothing on the agenda about community days per se. I did come across an article that was in the Hartford newspaper that I thought we might want to begin to think about and discuss, because there was a community fair of types been going on for years and years. It's with the fire department down in, I think, Plainville, down in south central Connecticut. And there was a particularly offensive group of people out there with signs and shouting stuff. And I think that, we got the First Amendment to consider, but this is a community gathering, and I think that we would do well to notify people in advance if they're coming. We don't want hate crimes. We don't want antagonism that's going to scare people away. And the last time that we had one, there were all those freaking Malar balloons blowing around all over, and I don't think we want to discourage that as well.
The balloons thing, Charlie, and unfortunately Leslie, of course, has moved on, but she and I had discussed that extensively, and I don't know if the materials she prepared already have it in there, but explicitly we were going to say no balloons, because people are just releasing them, and it's just disastrous. So it's not to say you can't bring something that's celebratory or a handout or a give out, for your community feel good booth, but it can't be balloons. give out apples, give out crayons, so, something. I'm sorry. One more thing about sort of unearned media on that brochure. I had a touch base call with NPS today, and they had invited somebody from East Hampton on their Parks and Rec commission, or possibly the director of Parks and Rec, who reports to their commission. And they were mentioning their airline trail. They have a special committee for the airline trail, and they were looking to design a promotional brochure for tourism. So I've actually hooked him up with our designer and the Z Card folks to get in on that. So in other words, to add another town in the sequence. So again, adding sort of the regional aspect. Every one of those Z cards that goes out, whether it's for Thompson, Putnam, Portland, you flip over to side A that's shared by all the towns, and it names and identifies all the towns that are participating, right, where there's parking areas on the trail from Thompson on down. So, it's a good way to connect those dots up and down the line. And then the last thing before I forget, because I'm forgetting everything these days, we sort of hired an events coordinator. We did it kind of in a hurry, and there was a procedural problem, but the position that this commission voted to release funds to, we did interview and take on a candidate. We just have to kind of go back and cross some T's and dot some I's and have that formally recognized by the Board of Selectmen. We're probably going to 1099-er for a couple of weeks as a contract, so that we can get her on board to actually help with some events that are ongoing. That's the sort of the quick fix. But that thing that we agreed to wanting to do is also in motion. So I didn't want to forget that.
Okay, any other comments? Okay. The next meeting is August 18th, 6:30. We'll try our first hybrid. If there's nothing else, I'm good to adjourn at 7:38.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Sorry we had to come in late.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Heather.
Nice to meet you. Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks.
Heather. Good night, everybody. Thank you.